Hello everyone, Kenty Tiger here with Bengali Engineering and Play. We are back in the Last Caretaker. So this is currently a demo version. If you missed episode 1, it was to get us here. So we've got a lot of stuff to do. I've been basically working through kind of a tutorial-ish thing, as well as, how shall I say, adequately demonstrating my quirky OCD. So, there's a lot of stuff to loot, so here's the E. Take all those. Level 2. Level 2. Okay, a bunch of stuff to loot. Now, these you can carry, or, now, you pay for it, but if you go off to the side just a little bit, there, loot small battery. So E and hold, we're going to do that. So that will pick it up and put it in your inventory, and the reason I want to do that is because there's a couple more of these. I want to carry all of them onto the ship, but I do not actually want them in my hands. So loot and hold, E hold. Alright, so somebody asked me, so for those of you who have been following me for a little while, know I was 30 years Navy. So I did 6 years active duty at the beginning of the career, and then was a civilian for the rest of it. But I was still on ships. I worked the arguably 26, 27 years on ships for my 30-year career. So anyway, I know a bit about boats. So the question is, what's the difference between a ship and a boat? It is the length. So if I remember 85 feet, I may be wrong, but you can Google me and fact check me here. If it's more than 85 feet, it is a ship. If it's less than 85 feet, it is a boat. So anyway, look that up and see where that is. You can either leave it in the comments below, or, just nice to know stuff. So naval trivia there. So anyway, large crates, hard to move those around for it. So this is obviously a video turns into something timeless, but there is currently the question of the week, which is not really a question of the week, it's a quest of the week, which is how many crates can you stack, which is to say upright, on the deck of your ship. Of course, the challenge there is once you get underway, it's moving and all your crates will fall. But anyway, there's a bunch of crates there that you can see already, and then there's a bunch here. Now, I don't know how many crates there are. Haven't counted. Maybe one of my playthroughs I'll actually count those. Otherwise, they are scrap. So, okay, on we go. So you can see a lot of scrap. There's a canister up there, which is plastic and other things. Oh, in fact, so tab, we're going to go into inventory, which is actually more than just inventory. So it's kind of everything. So you see everything I have in my inventory currently. So we have plastic scraps. You see we have metal scraps, wire scraps here. We have metal scraps and broken glass. Okay, so all of this stuff we will eventually put through a recycler. Now there's a bunch of different kinds of organic matters. This is kind of your basic bioorganic stuff. Any enemies that you encounter and kill, you will ultimately end up with bioorganics from them. And there's the different flavors of those. These are the memories which we are collecting. So if I click on this, you'll see this is a memory that aids you with empathy. So eventually you are, I presume, encoding, I'm not sure what word they're going to use there, but encoding different elements into humanity. So they talk about a seed vault that you ultimately have to find. So I don't know if they're pre-prepared humans. I'm not really sure about that one. But anyway, we're going to find out. So anyway, that's why you want to collect all of these things, all the memories that you can end up with. And there's a bunch of them scattered around. So I think I have, in fact, bypassed a couple just, getting here. So This is more of a tutorial. Tutorial. I can't speak today. So I'm not necessarily going to show you like secret passages and all that sort of thing. There's actually several really good videos out there that will show you that. So anyway, want to point out the XP counter there on the bottom right hand of the screen. Right now we're at experience point 16, so that was 16 experience points from the time we shifted to level 2. So it's not a cumulative running, it's a this is how many you have for this level. So in this case I have to get 350 experience points to make that threshold for level 3, which we will get to pretty easily actually. The downside is that's the end of the demo. So level 3 is, that's all you can go. Alright, so inventory, now that we actually have stuff in the inventory, we kind of went through all this, but skills and enhancers, you see the little symbol up here, so that's a 10, that's a 3, so not a whole lot of skills to choose from, but we'll use that wisely if we can. Alright, so 0, why is this on level 2? Because you don't really need it before then. So basic electric engine. Keep that in mind, electric engine. So we're going to go ahead and click that. It's a 0, it doesn't cost you anything. Here's your dismantle tool. This comes in extremely handy. That one will be important. Okay. Do you have to have more electric cable? Probably not. There is enough electric cable laying around to do really what you need to do at the basic level. Now, if you want to do anything beyond the basic level, you're going to need more. So, having electric cable is a really good idea at this stage of the game. Plus, again, I'm OCD, so that's a little joking. I'm not trying to be patronizing to those who have legitimate OCD. My OCD is really under control, kind of, mostly. But I want to bring power back to every battery in this facility. Will I ever use it again? Probably not. We're going to do that for the sake of this particular run through. Okay, that was my thing saying, hey, shut up, stop talking. Okay, we're going to come back here. Actually, I'm going to carry that robot because it's really, really close. Okay, so when you're at 0, your battery is powering your torch, so you no longer have a torch, which is not a big deal. Okay, so on we go. We are on the catwalk on the south side. You don't have a compass yet, but you will. Alright, and on we go, and we have a little hole here, so be careful. I'm going to throw that... Draft. Okay, run and jump. Space bar is jump. Alright, I'm going to a battery and then we'll come back up. Alright, so as things are moving along, so this is your dock. There's a lot of things that are going to happen on the dock, but right now we're kind of critical power. Okay, plugging in this battery. This one was full. You can see 5.3, well 5.5 I think it was. And we're going to set ourselves up for success a bit. Mostly because if we ever come back here, and for the sake of this demo we are going to come back here, I want to have everything working. Okay, so we're at 100% there, so turn, do another E. I'm going to do a collect, and remember I can get to the point of loot battery, and grab cable. Okay, so E, you can also grab that. So you see E goes to connect. So I want to connect onto the port where you see the reticle. Now, this is going to grab a little bit out of inventory. Now you can either grab the cable with a left click or grab by E. If you grab by E, you're just going to hold it. Okay, so I'm going to do the E. I'm going to jump onto my ship. And so all of the electrical ports and all of the diesel ports go to your ship. Okay, so they're all interconnected. Okay, so you see switch cables as an E. So we're going to do that. Now you see all the lights on the ship just came on. Okay, so that's actually your first goal, is to get everything to work. All right, Q, I'm going to roll this in. I don't really need it. Okay, sorry. Q and hold. There we go. Try it again. All right, that pulls it into inventory. All right, let's do a quick tour of the ship, and then we'll get back to where we were. Let's start out in the engine room. Some stuff to loot here. This is going to become very important. So, our diesel engine, our electric engine. Our electric engine is fine. You don't have to do any repairs on that. If we punch 5, it will bring up our repair tool, right? But let's go ahead and go into the tool menu. So that's a T for tools. Let's try another T. Okay, so we have your torch, right? So my torch is on. We have our repair tool, which is set as a 5 for whatever reason. And I don't know action bar. Huh. Well, let me set that on action bar. Oh, and it knocks my torch off. Huh. All right, let's go to action bar 2. Oh, it just won't let us do that. All right, so that is 3, 4, 6. Okay, that's there. So this is actually going to be action bar 3. There we go. Okay, so that is working now. Let's go back to our main screen. So 5 is repair tool, which is where that was. I oopsed. 6 is your torch. Now 7 is your dismantling tool. So now you have it as a hot bar, which is kind of neat. Okay, so that's your tools menu. Tools, right? So everything you have access to. So some people are a little confused on how the hell do I get to my dismantle tool? I know I built that. Where the heck is it? It is under your tools menu. So that's a T. T for tools. All right. T will undo that, or escape will undo that, or return will undo that. Okay. What's happening here? Diesel engine is broke. It's on fire. All right. So that is a number 5 to get to your repair tool, and it says durability is 0, so your diesel engine is foobar. And here's what's important: durability 0. Okay, so there is some functionality usually to something until you get to durability 0. Okay, now here's the resources you need. Excuse me. You need plastic and you need iron. So I have 1 plastic inventory. So you see a 1/3. I have 1. I need 3, right? Iron, I need 6. I have 3. Okay? So that's what that information window is telling you. So we need more stuff, right? Now I have some scraps. So we'll do that in a minute. So I'm going to press 5 again, which will basically turn that off. I'm going to pick this guy up, and you can either carry it to the engine or throw it at the engine, and it will automatically latch on for you. All right, electric engine. Now remember, we got that thing. Let's go back in here to skills. Okay, so remember, we got the electric engine cylinder, right? So, trust me, we're going to find another one, and you actually find another one at another facility. So eventually, you will have all of these just by finding them, but makes a difference. Oh, so I didn't go on here. So electrical cable, definitely need electrical cable. We have an electrical cable extender. What does that really mean? I can plug 4 things into this, right? So, comes in handy. Your cables can only be 20 meters in length. You may have a boatload of cable in your inventory, but each section can only be 20 meters long, okay? Or however much you have, but 20 meters. So you have to put one of these guys down at the end of that 20 meters. If you're going a big long run, which will happen, then this is absolutely critical. Now, diesel fuel or petrol, doesn't matter which one, it works for either one. So if you're doing diesel or petrol, that's what you need these for. Right now, we do not have a need for that. It will come in later. Solar panel. Your ship has solar. We'll show you where that is, provided I can get up there. But we'll show you where that is. They're on the roof of the bridge. But one of the tasks is to actually build a Lumelite solar panel, which we will do. But this is a good thing to have because you are very limited on power. The solar cells that are on the roof of the bridge are not enough to sustain you indefinitely. The other sidelines with solar is solar requires sunlight. There's a lot of storms, there's a lot of fog. You know, this is basically doomed Earth, right? So there's a lot of weather patterns that will affect your solar from giving you the power that you need. So you look at this, this is a small solar panel capable of generating 900 watt hours in optimal conditions. Anything suboptimal, it's less than that. Okay, I've seen these down as low as 200 in the fog. When it's stormy out, you're probably not going to get anything out of them. So keep in mind, solar is a good thing. Okay, so we have now burned through all of our skill points. Let's go to enhancer points. Now, in the demo, what do you really need? So I like to be able to lift things, so I'm going to go ahead and put 5 in here. Is that enough to do anything? I don't know. Maybe I should just put all 10. Usually I do battery, but I don't know that matters. So let's go ahead and do this. All right, so that's all 10. I think you can right click. Oh, I don't have any points, but I think you can right click and actually select 5, and then it gives you a yes no dialog box. So anyway, or you can left click and it will just scroll across and give you that one. Luckily the bar is long enough that you can actually count that out. I want 5, click, click, click. So anyway, this is your personal preference because I want to move those crates around, which is really to say I want to be able to lift them up enough to throw them in the recycler. This is pretty important. So right now battery would be important because your scrapping actually uses battery. So we'll probably in the scrapper portion, maybe, I don't know. All right, so that's these. We're gonna see build has changed. How did build change? Well, everything that you know how to make now has the item parts. So like most building games, I won't patronize you here, but most building games, you take the raw resources, turn them into something, an intermediate like ingots or something like that, and then you use those ingots to make parts, right? Okay, these are our parts. So this game represents them as a little box with a symbol on the front. So we have the optical lens, which we had originally. We had the battery thing originally. Now we have alloy frame, we have connector ports, which are all kinds of different connectors, and we have solar cell. The reason we have solar cell is because we specified this guy as learning. So that's all the things we have. So we had this. So that's what the optical lens was all about, and the battery portion. So that was those things. So as you get more and more items, you will have more and more parts, which you have learned, which then are required to make all of these different things. This one is a little unique. So your item cable extenders, which goes for water, fuel, and gases. So eventually you can see those if we go to the enhancers. Oh, sorry, skills. Excuse me. So here you see petrol container, right? So we have fuel. So this covers diesel and petrol. If we go down here a little bit further, you see we have gas, and here's your gas extender. Here's water, so water cable and water extender. Okay, so those are the 4 in the game, right? You have gas, we have water, we have fuel, okay, which is this one here, and then we have the electric. Okay, so these are all, they're called cables. Might be a hose, might be a hose. So, anyway. All right, on we go. So our electric engine, electric blue, right? Like lightning. So electric blue. And the diesel engine is yellow. You see the cylinder here. So there are multiple flavors of cylinders for both of your engines. There's 3 different flavors. So there's a booster, and then there's a super booster, I think they call it. We can look at that in a bit. All right, so 1 cylinder. So this was on here. I'm going to pull this off, and this is just an OCD thing. So this is, of course, the stern of the ship, this end, which means your propeller is back there somewhere. So probably under the deck somewhere there's a transmission or something like that, which means piston to crankcase to... So anyway, sorry. I'm going way too far. Okay. Every door that has a handle, you can slide it open. That's the rule of thumb. If there's a marker on there and no handle, then you know you can't do anything. Now, interestingly, this has a grab instead of a, there we go, now I've changed the grab. All right. So our next stage, next room of the ship, this is a fabricator. We have not seen this before. So this kinds of things, it just says no power. We can actually hook that to power if we want to. We will do that eventually. So this is where you make stuff. Anything you can make on your person, you can actually make on this thing. All right. And this is your recycler. Recycler is your friend. Okay, so we're going to power this. So connect, and then I'm going to point my reticle at this, and I will get another E connect. There it is. And my power. The switch, E. Okay, and we see, okay, interact. Let's go ahead and use the interact. You can either throw stuff directly in here or interact with it. If you have stuff in your inventory, you use interact. Otherwise, you're carrying something and you pitch it in. All right, so anything that is a scrap, we can throw that in here and it will deal with it. Okay, so it deals with it at 0.8 kilograms at a time. So you notice here this says plastic scraps and 6, right? So 4.8 kilograms, 6. 6 is the number of those that you have. Okay, so this is going to knock down by 0.8 kilograms at a time, and it'll chew that through that pretty quick. See? Hold on. All right, let's throw the wire scraps in there. That's the last of the stuff. And then it spits out over here the raw materials, right? So we have some metal over there. We have some plastics. Okay, so if you remember what we need to fix our engine, we now have all of that. Okay, this is either your workshop or your quarters. I'm not sure what is intended. Probably doesn't matter what's intended because you are going to do what you want to do. I turned this into my quarters, but obviously it's pretty big. Oh, I didn't realize you could do that. Loot diesel engine. Okay, so here's what we're going to do over here. We're going to put the cylinder on. So we're going to go back into inventory by tab, and we're going to right click. Now you can right click on a lot of stuff here and get a window. So organize, which that is not necessarily very helpful, or drop, which means drop. You're going to drop it on the ground. All right, so that's what we're going to do here. You can do a lot of things with a lot of these things. I'm going to grab these batteries and put them down here on my toolbar. That just gives you a little quicker access to them because I'm babbling quite a bit. So that gives you a, well, I have no idea where battery is, so run, or you have batteries. All right. All right, so I'm going to pick this up, and again, you can actually throw this, and it will connect in there. All right, 5 for my repair tool. You can see I have my plastics and my iron. So I'm going to repair my engine. It does take 10 seconds. You see diesel engine there, 10 seconds. Electric cost 50. Remember that. Okay, so it's repaired. It took about 10 seconds, and you may have noticed I dropped by 50 watt hours. So when you're repairing or scrapping or building, any of those will cost you. Okay, so just pay attention to your power. Make sure you don't run low. All right, so there are no electrical outlets in this room. However, there are 4 in this one, and we're going to use one. So 5 to cancel my repair thing because I don't really need that. Okay, close enough. So double E there, which will connect your cable onto the socket and then connect onto yourself. Okay, also at the bottom there, next to your power gauge, you see a 2 with a blue line slowly going across. That's your level. So when that blue reaches the right side of that box, you have leveled up. And then it will go to 3 and onwards up there. 51%, the one right under that, which is to the left of your health bar, you see that weight, 51%. If the weight doesn't give it away, that is 51% of my carrying capacity. So just keep those in mind. Okay, disconnect, disconnect. All right, nothing else of interest back here for the moment. So remember this stuff. Now we're on battery power. So your ship is on battery. Your ship has the equivalent of a medium battery. Okay, so 6 kilowatt hours. That's it. Now I got to say this because engineer. 6 kilowatt hours is nothing. Okay, that's a car battery. Okay, why they have a single car battery on the ship, don't know, but that gives you about, so 6 kilowatt hours is about 110 to 120, depending on how you do your calculation, amp hours of battery power. So not sure why they picked that particular number, and how things use power I think are scaled down quite a bit. So anyway, for what it's worth. And again, you can conserve power by different ways. There's lights on the ship, and that's it. So you can see here we are burning at a rate of 0.7 kilowatts. Okay, and our battery storage right now is at 2 of 6. So this is the same equivalent of a medium battery, and it will actually say medium battery. Okay, so keep in mind all of the electric plugs on your boat are interconnected. Okay, so all of them go to that battery. All of them, they're all connected. Just keep that in mind. They're all connected. There are 5 diesel connections. They all go to your tank. Okay, so you've got 5 of them. They all go to the same place. You have 2,000 liter capacity. Let's go look at that. Okay, so here's diesel. If you just put your reticle on it, it says diesel tank. Okay, it's the same diesel tank. You've got 5 places you can hook up. It's all the same tank. Okay, 2,000 liters, that's the equivalent. That actually will let you run through the water quite a bit. You've got the main diesel engine there, that's it. That's the only thing burning diesel for you. So just for what that's worth, 2,000 liters, but you are burning it until you have a way, which you can't in the demo, until you have a way to get more diesel, then conserve. Electricity is infinite from the perspective of solar panels. Okay, so you can pick that up anytime. Okay, so 2,000 liters. So let's take care of that. We're going to jump back over the dock. Okay, mooring cable, right? So E to grab the cable. I'll show you why we're doing this. Across, these are the mooring plates. You're going to see those on docks as you go around the world. So connect. See the boat move? the boat is coming in, those cables will pull you right up against the fenders or against the pier, depending on what it is. There are no fenders on this particular pier, so it's pulling you right up. I will explain what a fender is if those of you who are not nautically inclined. Okay, so here's the other mooring cable. I'm going to connect it as well, just because. All right, now your boat is anchored. I'm going to use those interchangeably just for the sake of this, because I've been on ships for 30 years of my life. So your boat, your ship is anchored. Okay, so your mooring cables here will fight with your anchors. So if you are anchored at a strange position, then it will pull those chains up taut until they cannot move anymore. So the idea is put your mooring cables down. Now, people play different things. Your anchors were not meant as brakes. Okay, so if you are truly a sailor, if you have been on a boat before, you know that your anchor is not a brake. So stopping, my guess is this vessel would be several thousand tons of displacement. So just dropping your anchor and, hooking that in and bringing, several thousand tons to a stop is gonna put some stress on things. So, from pure engineering perspective. All right, so now that you are close, you can see you cannot fall through here anymore. Because of this step, you have to jump up, but in the back, you can actually walk across. So you don't have to really worry about. Okay, so more loot. So hold J, hold J, hold J, hold J. Okay. A lot of stuff back here. So you see a bed. I'm going to take this particular bed onto the ship. All right, looking around here, there's some more loot back here. Grab all that, all the different crates, all the different loots, and looky what we got here. We have a diesel tank. And the nice thing about this diesel tank, you say 2,000 liters. So we actually have 2,000 liters. All right. So depending on you're not pointing directly at it, you see that change down there, bottom center, loot, small diesel container. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Then, because I don't want anything in my hands, so in this case I'm going to grab the cable or E, it doesn't matter which one, left click or E, grab it, and then I'm going to jump onto my ship. I'm going to try to jump onto my ship. And I'm going to hook that in here. And so E for connect. Now, you see this moving. Now, the thing to remember about cables, and we'll use cable and hose interchangeably, you see this 0, and I presume that's a dash. So this is in equalization mode, okay? And this is true of all of the cables, even though this is a hose. So you see the F switch mode, right? So it's telling you we are in equalize mode. We have 3 modes. So I'm going to push F. We are now in input mode. You can see the arrows change to yellow arrows. So it is inputting from the perspective of that connector, right? Okay, so I am inputting into whatever it's connected to. If I push F again, it's going to do output, which means I'm pulling out of whatever that is into that connector. In this case, I'm pulling diesel out of my tank and putting it into that other tank. So we want input. The reason we want input is equalize means equalize, right? So if I have a 2,000 liter tank, then it will end up with 1,000 liters in my ship's tank and 1,000 liters in the dock tank, right? And you don't want that. You want everything, which is exactly why I go to input mode. So pay attention to that. That can become really important if you're charging from a very low battery. It will balance. If the battery has more energy than you can store, it acts like it's in input mode to you. Okay, Okay, so pay attention to that. You may run into places where you're going to have to switch modes because it will always go into equalize mode first. That's the default. I don't know if you can change that or if they will be able to change that in the early edition game, early access game. Don't know. They may not. So in this case, we're now out of diesel fuel in that tank. It's all in your tank on the ship, which actually was one of the things. So I'm just doing things a little bit out of order here, so you see my quests are not lining up, but when we get to the next section, you'll see where that shows. Okay, so I'm going to grab cable, and then I'm going to Q and hold. So I've now got cables in my inventory. Oh, great, great. Okay, so that tank now becomes useless, but we will see, you can see now diesel tank is 0 liters. So we've got it all. All right, jumping back on the ship here, I'm going to grab this other container. This is diesel. All of these are full. You see by that green panel there, all of these are full. These are 200 liters. So you see I've got a diesel, there's a small diesel container, 200 liters. You see another one here. Those are what you got. Okay, I'm going to put these over here because OCD. Alright, so I'm just going to drop this and put it down, and then if you remember, I collected a bunch of these, so I'm going to do right click drop, right click drop, right click drop. Okay, so we're going to drop all these guys. Conveniently they stack, so kind of interesting. So I'm going to grapple, I'm going to pick those up, and then I'm going to just stack all those in the corner over here because F to rotate, because I want to be able to see what that looks like, and then I'm going to go right against the bulkhead and then drop that. I'm going to readjust this one because it's not against the bulkhead because OCD. Alright, grab this last one. Now there are a couple others. You have 4 of these. There are 2 more, which I will show you where those are. Alright. There we go. Okay. Close enough. They're against the bulkhead, that's what I want. Okay. Alright, we'll go with that. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and heal while I'm here. So this is your healing station and save station on your ship. So you get to keep these forever. Just remember they're here. Save often. The game thankfully does not crash very often, but there are some little quirky things that every once in a while. Okay, so we're at 100%. We're going to do a save. Again, I'm going to go into slot 1 just because. Slot 1, override, yes. And then that disconnects automatically. Alright, so good place to be. So here's the forklift I was telling you about earlier, so can't do anything with that other than scrap it. Alright, so here are the goals. So the goal right now is, see that square box up there? That is where we need to go. So the question is, how the heck do we get there? We'll go through that. Alright, so staircase. Hey, maybe that'll take us up. Okay. I said fenders earlier. These are fenders. This is a tire. These are fenders. Okay, so there is actually a difference. So fender will keep your boat from hitting the pier. That's the whole idea of fender. So the professional boatman will always put out fenders before they dock. Alright. Oh, darn. Wrong button. Okay, so this is hold E, hold E. Okay, so you got a lot of stuff you can scrap up here. More stuff. And this, of course, is the way we came in, right? So we came in from over there. You see that door? That's where we came in. All right, and it's mostly because I'm here. Okay. Normally you're gonna throw a lot of stuff on your ship just because it's convenient, but I'll show you why. I'll show you why I'm not doing that. All right, let's just do it. Okay, and remember, every door, hey, this one's electric and it's red. Well, that doesn't suck quite as bad as you think, because remember, handles. Handles mean you can open it manually, okay? So, I watched a video where somebody was very confused. It was an electric door, it was red, and they were just like, okay, how the heck do I get through this? They went through, there's a tunnel over here. Went through that. There's actually a tunnel underneath this deck. It's right under this staircase. Couldn't get in through there. Couldn't get in through this one. We're actually going to go through this one eventually, because there's loot in there. So obviously we won't want the loot. Okay. So I'm just going to put that down. Loot. Right. Hold E. Another container here. Okay. Let me demonstrate. So we're going to bring up number 7, which is my dismantling tool. Okay, so dismantling tool. What does that do for us? Well, you can see that this container, metal canister, right, will take 3 seconds to dismantle. It will cost you 30 watt hours. Okay, I'm a little low, but 30 watt hours. So I have 150, 149 now, so that's plenty. Metal canister will take me 3 seconds to dismantle. Its durability is 100%. If its durability is less than 100%, it won't take you that long. And what do you get out of this? You get metal scraps and plastic scraps. Okay, so why is this important? Knowing what different things will get you means you don't have to search for very long to find what you need. Oh, okay, I remember this has plastic in it. Crates have plastic in it. Oh, I need to cut down a couple of these crates. I need to cut down a couple canisters because I need plastic. So, in this case, just for the sake of demonstrating, sorry about the noise. All done. But you notice, I just dropped 104. All right, problem. Electric door, right? It's got the red indicators at the top. It's got the lightning bolt there. They're all red. And this one sucks because there's no handle, right? So you're going to have to apply power to this section of the station to get this door open. Why is this important? I'm going to stare through the door. So you see we have a fabricator and you kind of can see it, a recycler. Okay? So, fabricator and recycler that are part of the station. This is, in fact, one of 2 of those pairs. Now, here's the other good news. If we see across, there's a battery. Okay, so you have another source of power right here. All right. But hey, I need to go up. Here's a staircase. Pushing 7 to turn that off, and up we go. Okay. I'm just going to take these and pitch them down here, mostly just to get them down there. All right, up we go. Now, same thing here, OCD, sorry. Grab them, pitch them, just to get them down there where I can actually use them. All right, boxes, remember boxes are loot, so hold and press E, and they'll come out. Glow sticks, you can collect all the glow sticks, they're cool, I guess. All right, what do we see? Another door. Now, here's the good news. Oh, it's on fire, but that's okay. We can repair it. But that is, you can see that square reticle that's on there. That's the current quest. That's where we need to go. So, how the heck do we get in here? It's an electric door. No handle, so we have to open this by electrics. So, always look around. Remember I said that before, always look around. So the reticle changed to the grab thing, so we're going to grab the grate cover. We're going to take this and just throw it because it's metal. All right, there's another thing that we can loot. All right, jump on the crate, and then in the vent. If you like glow sticks, take the glow sticks. I think I will because I'm running my torch. Now, is it okay? Left that one over there. Got turned around. Oop. Okay. Another buddy here. Alright, so I'm gonna loot everything, then I'm gonna grab him. her it. Here's another grate, but notice where we are. Right? So they have these nice little hidden things. I'm going to go ahead and drop him right here. Her it. All right. Couple things. So we got to repair this, but this is also where we're connecting. I'm down to 16. I'm down to 3%. Okay. Here's what those extenders look like. Now I'm going to do a couple of strange things. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to plug it into the almost dead battery. I know that sounds a little silly, but watch what we're going to do here. We're going to connect and then connect. Okay, we're going to do these. Now remember I said equalize. Watch what these batteries are doing. All right, and once they balance, you're going to see the light slows down and then they stop, right? Okay, so these batteries are now functioning in parallel, which is exactly what I wanted to do. More loot over here in the corner. Oh! Okay. Now, even though it says medium battery 3.1, it's really not 3.1, it's actually 6.1 because you have the same amount, 6.2, because you have the same amount in that other battery. Okay, so in fact, you see this bright here because it went to 100 kilowatts. It is actually pulling equal shares out of both the batteries in this case. Okay, so E to disconnect, turn E again, come over here and loot. Ah, you're sweethearts. Okay, here's a pickup terminal. Grab this battery. I don't have power yet, but just remember these guys are everywhere. You have one on the bridge of your ship. You have one here. You'll see these. And they come in very, very handy. So Sanctuary Dock 37. That's where we are. So this is Sanctuary Dock. You can come back here and it's reasonably safe. We're going to kill all of the creatures that are here ultimately. So anyway, safe. Safe as it gets. All right. Looky here. So you've got another health station, another backup station, but powered door. So can't get in here until we restore power. And let's go ahead and loot over here just because. Cable. I'm gonna steal that. Okay, so how do we fix this? We use, of course, our repair tool, which is a number 5 on my particular setup. We already have iron. We pulled iron from the table over to our left. Okay, so repair is left click. You can watch the progress bar there, almost there, done. And then connect. So E, we have a bunch of cable. I'm going to go to the extender. There's a reason for that. All right, and then we're gonna come over here and throw power, and then we have a voice in our head. The voices have returned.
Dawn is alive again, thanks to you. Each step forward reconnects us to a brighter future. Caretaker, you were never meant to remain bound. These waters were once pathways, carrying life, purpose, and discovery. Something awaits you out there, ready to be reclaimed.
All right. Now you see a bunch of things that came up. Our quest vessel of tomorrow. Now we were down there. We did some stuff. We already repaired the diesel engine, which is considered optional because you do have the electric engine. Excuse me, everyone. Sorry about that. So repair your diesel engine. Reconnect the engine cylinders onto the diesel engine. There was one there that was on the floor. We picked that up. We went to the back room, which I think is going to be our quarters, or probably most people are going to use that as a quarters because, I mean, it's kind of well set up there. You've got your desk, and, you know, all that stuff. So grab the other diesel engine, put that on. So exactly why it says 2 of 1, but that is still optional. And refuel the boat with diesel. Up the optional, I'm not sure why it says that, because you're not really going to go anywhere without diesel in the long run. I mean, that's not really true, I guess, with the electric. But anyway, fill up your boat. So we had 2,000 liters there on the pier. We actually put that 2,000 liters in the tank, so the tank is completely full in this case. Now, we are wanting to power up the boat. So in this case, remember that was a medium battery equivalent, which was 6 kilowatt hours. In this case, you have to meet that 3 kilowatt hour requirement, which we're going to get there. So, 4 batteries. So we've already seen 4 medium batteries, not counting your boat. So we had one down in the what I'll call berthing area. So anybody who's done Navy remembers what berthing is. So your bedroom area has that battery down there. You had a battery right there at the stern of your ship. You have 2 batteries here, and we actually have one more battery that's sitting, as I pointed out, right next to the fabricator and recycler that was in that door where we couldn't get to. So, now, this looks silly. It's just going up there to wherever it goes, and why would you plug in a cable when you don't know where it goes? Well, I know it goes to the roof. So this is just my experience. So I'm going to connect this on here because we're actually going to need that. In fact, let me do something different. So undo. I'm going to actually plug that into this battery. Why am I doing that? Because I want to make sure all the energy goes into these batteries first. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to mode input, okay, to make sure all that energy goes into the battery. It's not going anywhere else. It's going to go right into the battery. And then these are still equalized, and this is equalized. So this is what's powering the base. This section of the base. All right, I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to pick up the robot, and I'm going to drop him off. Now, I wanted to. So there's a foot switch here, and all it says is use. So it's basically you step on that, it releases the ladder that goes all the way down. So now it goes all the way to the floor. It did not before because it's up here. So once you release that, it goes all the way down. Now you see these in a couple different places. The idea is you have to work your way up and around by whatever method the devs have designed. Sometimes I get frustrated at those. And then once you're up there, you release the ladders, and now you have an easy way to traverse in the future. So in this case, this is, of course, your dock, the level right above your dock. So you can throw an awful lot of stuff down here because, again, the recycling machine is right there. All right, so I'm going to do a couple things. I'm going to leave that table there for now, and we'll come back to that. There's loot. Metal scraps. Okay. Container. Here. Bing. Bounce, bounce. All right. Grab this. And why am I doing this? Because this is glass. Boink. Okay, chair, that's going to get scrapped, but just going to, this is just cleaning up. We're going to do this anyway. Computer. In fact, we talked about this earlier. Okay, so tech scraps. Okay, tech scraps goes into things. We'll show you that when we're in the inventory. Broken glass. You need glass. Not much, but you need glass. Aluminum. Oh, aluminum is so hard to find. So these kinds of things are why it's really important to scrap all this stuff, because you need aluminum. You need glass. So glass. What's an obvious glass? If I have to repair a solar generator of some kind, I'm gonna need glass. Why? Because those are glass faced, right? The glass protects the solar panels, or the solar cells. So you need glass. You need aluminum for a lot of different things. So the idea, exactly why I stacked all the robots, exactly why I stacked all the computers and tech crap onto the elevator, was because we need that. And I'll show you why we need that in a minute. But here it is. So I'm going to 7, which turns that off, and then we're going to take this over here and pitch it down. Oh, I was going to scrap that and show you, but we'll do that down there. All right, we'll grab this, and then we won't actually spend a whole lot of time here because I want to get up to pink. I want to get up to the roof. Okay, a couple more things. I guess I'll just complete my OCD here. Oh, you can throw those too. All right, so this is, if I come to the end, then it will take it this way. If I come to the side, it will hold it sideways like that. So I'm gonna spin myself sideways so I can get, and you can't go over the, okay, I'm gonna leave that table there for now. The reason for that is whenever you see these little yellow caution stripey things, that means, hey, I can go there. Okay, so this is kind of one of those hidden things, not really hidden, but hidden because no one ever looks up. So remember that. They're there. And there's a reason for that. There's actually, I think, 2 memory things that you want up here. So I think there's 13 memory things total here, if I recall correctly. Okay, so these are slowly going down because they're powering the station here. So there's the sideways. I'm going to flip with F. I'm going to back up and then go out here. All right. Now, I'm going to do something a little silly here. I'm going to come right up to the rail and stop. Now, you can pitch these things, and I'm going to throw this onto the ship. Why? Because I want tables. So I'm again, OCD, I'm setting up my ship for my future, right? Because this is our home. Always remember, your ship is your home. So, gonna get us set up for success there eventually. All right, we are really, really close to my hour. Okay, let's see if. Hey, look at that! I can actually pick this up and carry it, which I am going to do. So that was successful in terms of being able to pick these things up, pitch it off the side. That was a general pitch. So, which is good. So that this is going to improve. Okay, Pico terminal. Let's do that real quick, and then we're going to be out of time. So walk up, press E, which will get you in here. Security, which takes you to all the different cameras. So whatever facility that you happen to be at, you will be able to view the security cameras. So I guess we can just go in there, enter, and then it shows you all the different sanctuary dock. Okay, I guess down arrow. There's the sanctuary. So the camera on the Pico terminal. So there's me. Vessel. So that is the, you will always see this, FS204. The devs are talking about naming the vessel, so there may be a name. For those of you who are familiar with naval history, or nautical history rather, it is unlucky to not have a name for your vessel. So just remember that. So name it something, even if it's just in your head. Okay, so dock. Again, the up and down arrows. So that's the dock. That's the camera right above the door that we came out originally. Oh, actually, I guess it's just under the catwalk, so it's a little hard to see. All right, so escape to get back one. Log data. Enter. Okay. Project Eden protocol records final static. 3 items in my data log. Why is that significant? I'm going to escape out of this and I'll show you why that's significant. Okay, tab to get into my inventory. How many memories do I have? 1, 2, 3. How many log items do I have? 3, right? Memory items equals log items. Okay, so as you collect memory items, this is exactly why you want to collect them. It is all towards the story, and then eventually these are attributes for humanity. So, for example, there we have patience and discipline. We have empathy. We have empathy, right? So these are all different characteristics that you want. So not only is it memories which unlock part of the story, part of the lore, they unlock attributes. So good things to have, knowing where they are. A lot of them are hidden, not all of them, but a lot of them are. So keep that in mind. You want to collect all those you can. Again, I think there are 13 here. I'm not sure if they picked the number 13 for a reason. Okay, remember this door was red, but now that we've powered it up, we can open the door. Okay, loot. Okay, we'll go ahead and heal, even though we don't need to heal. I'm going to go ahead and back up just because, even though I'm pretty low on power, so I should have, charged first. There we go. But I am going to go over here and charge. Now, you can charge at any open slot as long as they're equalized. Okay, so right now I'm going to full wattage because I have much less capacity than what I'm attached to, right? Those 2 batteries over there represent 12 kilowatt hours, so they're more than me. So equalizing will go to 100%, whatever my capacity is, which is that 100 kilowatt transition. All right, so just remember that. But if you're ever low, if your batteries are really low, then you want to pay attention to whether you're doing input, output, and all that. Okay, so I showed you the Pico terminal. There's one on your ship. It's on the bridge. Now we're powered. Okay, upstairs. Off we go. Okay. Things, right? Another sweetheart. All right, up we go. Where'd you go? Okay, we see another light switch. You can either turn the light switch on, and we have some loot. We have some chairs, and a bunch of sweethearts, which probably is not a good sign. And the downside, hard to see. Let me turn my torch off. So, remember, you see that octopi, octopus, another octopus. So there's actually 4 of them up here. So the other side is there's another enemy up here that certain enemies only come out at night. Right? Maybe that's an Aliens throwback. I'm not sure, but we'll go with that. Okay, door, handle, which means we can open it. Okay, so we're going to do that. Open. Now remember, it's dark. We might see things up here that we didn't want to tangle with, but we'll go with it. All right, why are we up here? Hey, there's a teddy bear. All right. So we got 4, right? 2 teddy bears and 2 other things. So if we go to the Pico terminal now, we're going to see 4 log entries, right? All right, a lot of scrap up here. The little safety cone, safety pyramid, I guess, is plastic. Okay, so remember, plastic. You need a lot of plastic. Okay, a lot of road cones over here. That's plastic. I think there's plastic in the chairs. So a lot of plastic. The crates also have plastic in them, right? So metal, right? So you got a lot of metal up here. You have a boatload of cones, right? Traffic cones. Plastic. So you got a bunch of plastic up here. All right. Let's go over here first. Now, remember, C is for melee. You don't have anything else at this moment, so you're going to have to crowbar it. Close enough. Just spam the snot out of that key. Okay. There we go. You hit that enough times, and it's going to collapse, then it cleans up, so you know you're all good. Okay, now, this door is green. Why is this door green? Where is it getting power from? It's actually getting power from the main dock panel. Okay, so if you do not power the main dock panel first, this one will be red, which is painful. So if you come all the way to the roof first, this is going to do it. Okay, so open. E for open. What is in here? Turn the lights on. This is your second set of fabricator and recycler. So if you have not joined the Discord for the group yet, please do that. They're very friendly folk there. The devs actually read the comments, so they take those action items where they feel them significant and start retrofitting them into the game. So good stuff. So my suggestion was, if you're OCD and pack rat from hell, this recycler being over here in the corner is really awkward because I have to come in here and this looks like a big space. It's not. So when you're trying to run and do everything fast, this is a very small space. So my suggestion was to move the fabricator over there and move the recycler over here. So that way you come through the door and throw it in. Done. I don't know if they're going to do that. There's a couple places in the game where you see these reversed, but for the most part, this is their scheme. They have the fabricator and the recycler. So the fabricator on the left and the recycler on the right. All right. This is not connected to anything yet, but we're going to connect, and initially we're just going to connect here. We will come back and do some stuff. All right. We talked about grates. So there's two grates. You can go in here. I suggest you do that. And you can go in here, and I suggest you do that too. So we'll come back and eventually do that. All right. I'm going to do one more thing. Let me turn my torch back on. Connect. And conveniently, we have a extender right here. All right. Hard to see. So maybe we'll talk about that in just a minute because I'm right about my hour. So I'm going to go back to the door over here. Sorry, didn't get my bearings here. I'm going to go back to the door. And just because it's nighttime, I'm going to shut. Ah, wrong button. Shut the door. Back off here. All right. We will stop here just because it's a convenient place, because then we're going to go back out there and learn some more about fixing stuff and running some cable, electrical wires. All right, so I guess we'll stop it here. So this is Kenty Tiger signing off, and we'll catch you next time.